My fear is that my son's name, Berkeley Isidore Blue, will one day join the list of gone but not forgotten until the next brown boy's name is a hashtag. Until his body is found slain in a dark alley in D.C., or against a steering wheel in Compton, or a stoop in the Bronx, or a platform at Fruitvale Station, but my son can't be summed up on another white tee airbrushed with R.I.P., or along a chain-link fence turned ghetto shrine, because black lives don't seem to matter in my neighborhood. Hell, they never really did. See, my name is not Sandra Bland. My name is not Kendra Chapman. My name is any black woman left for dead by boys resembling the one I breathed life into. Black lives don't seem to mean shit if they don't die. Ain't no marches or protests if the killer ain't in blues flashing badges, but cops and crooks unload clips on black bodies. I thought we fought for the right to be more than target practice and property, but all we seem to remember from Martin, Malcolm, and Marcus is, I have a dream. By any means necessary. Let's all go back to Africa. How many more bodies? I should prepare myself for the day I'll bury my son. You see, the world is a battlefield full of landmines purposely placed beneath his every step. So he must run through war, run through life with open eyes and a Kevlar vest. Black boy born with a target on his chest, he never stood a chance. See, bullets don't carry names. And I'm convinced that life insurance is for white-collar communities filled with life expectancies beyond the age of 33, or 23, or 3. Black babies get caught in crossfire on East 14th, but we stay silent. You know ain't no snitching allowed in these streets. We let our mothers stay on Section 8. Our fathers gamble their lives away. Our daughters raise themselves. Our sons make more daughters. Our sisters sell their bodies. Our brothers sell their drugs. But we can't stand for white America to call us a nigger. Our village is filled with blind men leading dead men walking. Lost souls that will never be newsworthy. I am my sister's keeper, even if her name is not trending. To be black and conscious in America is to be in a constant state of limbo. The invisible woman in blackface, living in a skin no one seems to value, yet still proud enough to wear it every day. Because Black Lives Matter, that's the answer to a question that should have never been asked in the first place.
Judgment, dressed in a church hat, sits in the first pew. Reminds me that my hemline is half an inch shy of sin. Says, male flesh is so weak I must cover my body so not to be another vice tempting men in the house of the Lord. Schoolgirls get sent home. So not to distract the boys, their eyes need to be saved because we were not made in the image of the Lord but look like his best friend, the harlot. It's funny. The Blessed Virgin Mother and the whore are called upon by the same name, but one is beloved because a man decided their sanctity in her womb. The other is condemned, and she becomes the sea, and the shore becomes the length of my skirt. And the church hats think the water will devour the men who sit beside them. So they cover themselves in white flags, surrendering their bodies because they were told God is a man. But if these men were godlike, shouldn't they be able to walk on water, split the sea and not drown in the inches between my knees and my Easter Sunday dress? Maybe it's because God is a woman. And man worshiped the part of her body that could flower a new life, so he gave his rib to her as a sacrifice. But he got tired of this, of ripping apart his body and making an altar out of his bones, the way women have always done for man. Man wanted power and for Eve to bend at his will, so he made Eve the snake, called her the bitch, called her original sin. It's man's best friend anyways. So she found liberation in the apple, fled the garden that was nothing more than a cage. And black women are a reflection of Eve, told our flesh is made for consumption, and that we shall find salvation by swallowing the word of man. But we are not sin, we are rebellion. never needing to swallow the body and blood of Christ because we gave birth to him. He is our blood, and our blood is redemption. It's the reason Delilah cut the hair from Samson's head. She loved him enough to save him from the patriarchy, to save him from the privileged man gifted himself. God is a woman. Yes. And we've always saved man. So I asked my God, should I save them? Scratch out the eyes of the boys who are too busy worshiping my ankles to pay attention in class? Should I save them? Cut the wrist of the man who thinks they're folding his hands in prayer when he reaches for the small of my back? But instead of gifting me with a knife, she folds my hands, fixes my tongue to bless this man with restraint. And I think this is the most powerful gift of woman, the ability to make something as hard as forgiveness look so beautiful.
So, relatively speaking, I am aware of the fact that I've had it pretty easy. I mean, as a capable human with all my limbs, I've never allowed myself much room for justification by way of complaining. So, when I've been staring at all the tomfuckery around me for too long, and my thoughts begin to slip off the edge of sunshine and into the corners of my mind where all the demons reside, I try and stop them from getting too comfortable. I tell myself not to be ridiculous. I remind myself that others have it worse. I won't allow myself any misery because if anyone saw me unhappy, they might deem me ungrateful. So when a panic attack rolls in and through my lungs, I don't wonder what I did to deserve it. I wonder what I did to earn it. This visible offering of proof that my fears and concerns aren't entirely bullshit, this tangible anxiety still only inside my body, but it's pressing at the seams just taut enough that you can see each thread as they stretch themselves in an attempt to keep the vibrations in. Breathe and wonder why this is happening. Breathe and hope no one notices the sound of my wheezing from the other side of the bathroom door. Would it be better or worse if they thought I was masturbating? Breathe and feel all the pins and needles, the thoughts flooding forward from my face in the form of a whopping 2 tears. And I'm marveling at how dense they must have been because suddenly I am floating above my body and I am wondering what I did to earn this beautiful, visceral thing, this cleansing outburst of psychological warfare.
On an iPhone 6, trans autocorrects to trash. If we are already garbage bins, maybe that's why they don't bother putting any trash cans in men's stalls. I'm forced to carry out bloody tampons. Excuse me, this is the men's. I tell him the sign on the door had pants, so it appears to me this is the only requirement. Ask him why he feels the need to police a body that's not his. Tell him I don't owe him an explanation of mine. He should not be the one afraid in here. He's never been warned by his mother about rape a year too late. I search feet under stalls, never knowing which pair might turn a broken latch on the door to a broken button on my pants. End up giving defensive trans studies lessons like these urinals are my congregation that will never be convinced. I wonder if God ever feels misgendered when we recite the Bible. Through birth canals or the word itself did men not come out of women? Is there only one body after birth we're allowed to be in? My cis roommate got breast implants. But a trans person has to go through doctors and therapists to authorize the removal of his. Who knew identity could be so expensive? When people ask me if I'm going to transition, I tell them I do it every day. That I've got 2 closets. One for when I feel the need to female present to attract the masculine lesbians that won't understand. The other filled with hats and baggy shirts reserved for when it's safest. Ironic, isn't it? That what used to be my femme invisibility is now the only way I can get a girl to look at me. Try using Tinder when you get 5 pictures to show 2 people. Who knew clothes could make someone so uncomfortable? I wish anatomy was as fluid as sexuality, because this culture doesn't care if you learn all the right cues if you're in the wrong body. I gave up on trying to please it. They say you can't use props in slam competition, but I've been told my male presentation is a costume, as if my clothes are curtains. I'm tired of people looking at me, waiting for them to be raised for a show. Tired of trans people only being represented in the media once we're killed. Carve the wrong names on tombstones, misgendering us even in the articles on our murder. I'm sorry, this culture tells us love and gender have genitalia. What does the legislature know about wishing they were still babies so they could use any bathroom safely? How many problems do they have to create until they realize the problem is them? Thank you.